Let's face it, liberals are offended by everything.
Right on.
And they have zero sense of humor.
Right on.
Huh?
Right on. It's the party game that pokes fun at political correctness and liberalism run amok.
But making fun of them is hilarious for the rest of us.
So play right on and mock the progressive left and their fake news media counterparts in a variety of categories, such as race hustle, the wussification of America, earth snobs, Islam abomination, Hollywood hypocrites, and campus coddling. Feminism follies and rainbow games, and don't forget, millennial entitlement and many others.
Right on, created by conservatives for conservatives.
Because mocking the left feels so right on.
Give the gift of all year long by going to RightOnGame.com.
That's RightOnGame.com. Use promo code MOJO50 for a 10% discount. That's RightOnGame.com, promo code MOJO50 for 10% off.
And while you're there, check out the new drinking game option.
Warning, microaggressions contained in this box. Millennials and snowflakes will be offended by its contents. Retreating to safe spaces are highly recommended.
RightOnGame.com, promo code MOJO50 for 10% off. RightOnGame.com.
You are about to join Don Neuen, co-host of Cowboy Logic Radio, and Denise Simon, host of the Denise Simon Experience, for a weekly situation report, or SITREP. 18 hours a day, Denise Simon lives her life as an Intel Analyst. 18 hours a day, Don Neuen lives his life in the world of rock and roll. 1 hour each day, Neuen receives a daily SITREP from Simon. Welcome to the Drive Time Situation Report. Fasten your seatbelt. You're now in Don Neuen's car, and he is calling in for his SITREP.
Hello, smello, hello.
What's up, Denise? How you doing?
God. I'm gonna play a little game with you tonight. But how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
It's one of those you want to go forget about it.
Forget about it. Hey, I just passed Marco's Pizza. Forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's welcome everybody, and then we can start not forgetting about it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's Drive Time SITREP with the ever stellar, and don't forget about her, Denise Simon on one end of this conversation. My name is Don Neuen, and I'm on the other end of this confab. I am in my personal car driving home after a terribly grueling day at work, and I've called into Denise Simon, my unbelievably valued Intel Analyst. And she's about to bring me up on speed on everything that happened today that I couldn't look into because I'm dealing with work all day, much like you, beloved listeners. So we're going to start this off. Denise is going to timestamp the show so you know when this conversation took place. I'm driving through the hood right now, Denise. You know it well from all the previous SITREPs. And I don't see anything that could be threatening to my life at this point, especially two white guys in MAGA hats carrying a noose around that are homophobic and racist. I don't see any of them in the hood right now. They must all still be in Chicago. But having said that, why don't you timestamp it as only you can do, and let's get after it.
8:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the 18th of February in the year of our Lord, 2019.
Awesome, Denise. And before we go any further, let me be the first to today say Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
I am so in the Christmas spirit every day now, aren't you?
I don't know about all that. It's getting hot down here already.
Yeah, but you can
global
still be in
warming.
The Christmas spirit. I mean,
Global.
you have like 6 Christmas trees up during the holiday season.
I do.
And it's like 70 and 80 degrees down there anyway. You're walking around in flip-flops and shorts while you're admiring your Christmas trees from out on the street.
And putting fake snow on the carpeting like that's where Santa has come down the chimney.
There you go. You still leave cookies and milk?
I do. I absolutely do. There is a Santa Claus in this house.
I bet there is.
And he spends a long time here.
And I bet he's like 5'6" and has long blonde hair instead of white hair. Am I right? Am I nailing Santa in your house?
I don't know about all that. Santa's everywhere in this house. It's not just one person.
Hey, listen, I, for one, still believe in Santa. I
do
care
too.
what the liberals say. I believe in the Easter Bunny. I believe in the Tooth Fairy. And I believe in making America great. So what do you say we get after it?
Okay.
What happened today, Denise?
Well, I want to know who this new speechwriter is that Trump has, because whoever wrote the speech that he read today in Miami regarding Venezuela was a stellar speech. There were a bunch of new words in it, which tells me it's a very different speechwriter, because they're words that I've never heard Donald Trump use. But it was an excellent speech. Quite delighted.
What's the Stephen guy's name? Because all of a sudden we've seen him in the news lately.
I don't think he's doing it.
Yeah, but maybe it's
Stephen
one of
Miller?
his underlings. Yeah, Stephen Miller.
I don't think it's him.
I like the guy. I really do.
Anyway,
Not in a like gay way, Denise.
I didn't say that.
I know, but you know, I'm attacked often. Cowboy hat, Village People, Brokeback Mountain. Got to listen to it all the time.
Well, speaking of Brokeback Mountain,
I can't wait to hear about it.
well, we have this Jussie Smollett.
Is that how he pronounces his name, or is it Jussie Smollett?
He's one of 6 kids, and they all their names begin with a J. And
that's so George Foreman.
Well, here's the other interesting thing. His father is a Russian Jew, and his mother is African American. So he's biracial right out of the gate. They had 6 kids. Anyway, so Jussie's entire story is collapsing quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And what's not mentioned is this letter. There was apparently a letter that was written to him or to somebody that apparently the Chicago police have. And the reason they have is because it contained a white substance. Once it was tested, it was known to be just ground up acetaminophen, otherwise known as Tylenol.
Right.
So that's what started this whole thing. So this thing was so staged, they even rehearsed it. So it's beginning to fall apart in a big way. And that's kind of where I wanted to go with this tonight, because you and I can play a little game here. Have you noticed that it's always the Democrats that concoct a story and put it out there?
Every time.
And the media... The media then becomes the Praetorian Guard for these stories, and they will protect it with the very lives that these journalists and news anchors have. And so the Democrats protect the story, as they did on Jussie Smollett, and the Adam Schiffs of the world are protecting the story on the Russian collusion, to the point where even Adam Schiff has said, hey, when the Mueller report comes out, and the Mueller report isn't what I think it ought to be, then I'll put out my own, and I'll correct the record, meaning Mueller's record. Where Mueller has been at this 2 years and spent $30 million plus, and the time clock's still ticking on that one, and Adam Schiff is already discrediting without
Well, it doesn't meet their narrative. So they will go down looking like complete idiots to protect their fraud.
And so we have the left who is constantly saying that Trump lies about this and Trump lies about that. Well, Trump, he does take some liberties with facts because he's not a wordsmith and he's not eloquent in his delivery. So he does have to have people correct things for him because of the way he said it or what he didn't say or how he said it. And so the left and the media, the Praetorian Guard, everybody's calling him a liar. So I decided tonight that you and I can play a little game.
All right, before we play this game, let me ask you a question. Do you think in the past 2+ years, even let's go back 3 years, during his candidacy, do you think Trump ever deliberately lied to the American people? I mean, just knew he was telling an untruth.
My knee-jerk reaction to answer that question is no.
Okay, let's get another knee-jerk out of you. Do you think in the 8 years, and if you include his candidacy, his 9 years of being in the public eye in the capacity of either a candidate or a president, Barack Obama knowingly lied to the American people?
And therein lies where we begin. Let's start off with the one declaration that the Obama himself made, that during his entire 8-year administration, there had never been a scandal. And I think early on, one of the first ones was the beer summit. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So just for fun, let's just go down the list of, because I can't think of any Republicans that have just come out and lied. Have you? I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm really trying to struggle here. Like, did we have something come out of Darrell Iss's mouth or Jason Chaffetz's mouth or, Governor Rick Scott? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find some Republicans out there that just told some whopping fibs. And I think
it would be tough, and I can guarantee you cannot find a conservative who is labeled a Republican that has lied to the American people.
Well, it's always fun to remember some things. So, Obama never had a scandal, but we had the beer summit. So we'll start there. And then we'll just kind of, and you can throw in some that I may forget, but here we go. Eric Holder was asked the question, when did you first learn about Fast and Furious? And what was his answer? Oh, maybe a few weeks ago. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And then Benghazi was over a YouTube video. Remember that one?
Most certainly.
And how many people still think today that Benghazi was over a YouTube video?
Probably a buttload of mental midgets that align themselves with the left.
But we had Susan Rice that went out on 5 or 6 Sunday talk shows and said that it was over a YouTube video. But then she doubled down sometimes later. And what was it that she said? Bo Bergdahl served with honor and distinction.
Sure he did.
Remember that one?
Sure he did. I remember.
Now, these aren't in any kind of order.
No, I can tell.
But remember when, for the first 4 or 5 years of the Obama administration, we had to listen to it was Bush's fault because 90% of the budget deficit was due to George W. Bush?
We had to listen to that for 8 years.
Everything was Bush's fault.
Of course it was.
But there weren't any side deals with the Iranian nuclear joint plan of action, was there?
No.
And then we learned about what? All kinds of things like Project Cassandra. We learned about the missile program.
Missile program.
And we learned about pallets and pallets of cash.
Pallets and pallets of cash, Denise. We learned about them.
But
never a scandal. Never a scandal. Keep going.
With the Affordable Care Act, you will save $2,250 a year. And if you like your doctor, if you like your plan, you can keep them, period.
Period. End of story. Not a scandal, not a lie.
And how many times did he actually say that one?
Countless. How many times? I bet you've researched this.
No.
All right, well, let's just pick a number. How about 138 times?
Not a smidgen of evidence that there was ever any targeting by the IRS. Remember that one?
Never. Lois Lerner, never. No scandal, no lie.
But what went pretty much unreported was the fact that last year, the IRS settled with almost all of those groups that were targeted, except for True the Vote, because she wouldn't take it. She's still suing.
That's correct. But it still doesn't mean that there was an Obama scandal or that Obama ever lied. Back to you, Denise.
And then we had things like yoga classes and wedding showers and baby showers were all the emails that were on the personal Hillary email server. Remember that one?
Yeah, but again, not an Obama scandal, and nobody lied about it. Nobody. All truthful. Hey, what about the tarmac?
Good one. We just talked about what? Grandchildren and golf?
Yeah, that's it. No scandal there, Denise. And nobody lied.
Well, this is about the lies, okay? Thank you, Andrew McKay. But we'll keep going. We normalized relations with Iran. And in the normalized relations with Iran, Iran was going to be a forced and acceptable good citizen of the world. And
not
it wasn't
a scandal and not a lie.
And it wasn't too long after that. Didn't they kind of kidnap some of our sailors?
They most certainly did.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it is not an Obama scandal, and there is no lie.
And Cuba. Cuba.
You have to say it like, yes.
Cuba.
Like Joaquin Castro would say, Cuba.
They're also
like
going to be.
Montana would say it. Like Tony Montana.
They're also going to be good citizens of the world. And we're going to open up trade and tourism and all of these things. But then what happens? We have Americans.
Hold on. There was no lie and there was no scandal. But back to you.
But then we had some Americans and some Canadians that were forced to leave the country, the island, because they had debilitating disorders over some sonic attack, as best we know, that was performed in the housing that Cuba provides for our diplomats.
No scandal, no lie there. Keep going.
The NSA has never spied on an American.
Never, ever. Especially not under the Obama administration. Ever. And listen, James Rosen, that is not a lie, and there is no scandal there.
And Associated Press, because remember, Eric Holder had to hold a confab with Associated Press when they seized all their phone numbers and looked at all their phones. And then
Eric Holder is a saint, and there's no way that he should have been held in contempt of Congress. There's no scandal there, Denise. None.
And Cheryl Atkinson's computer.
Oh, no scandal with regard to her.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, she just friended me on Facebook. What do you think of that?
Oh.
You want to touch me?
Yes. Can you reach out and touch someone?
Hey, no scandal, though, with regard to Cheryl. None.
Workplace violence.
You mean
one
Fort Hood?
Major Nadal Hassan.
Yeah, no scandal. No lies about that. No lies. No lies.
And as we are about to defeat Islamic State in Syria, not across the globe, but in Syria, we were told that the Islamic State was what?
It would have been a JV team.
A JV team.
Listen. There was no lie and there was no scandal with regard to that, because in its infancy, Islamic State would have been considered a JV team because they were in like the 9th and 10th grade. No lie. No scandal.
But it was all a concocted story. But let's keep going. Duke lacrosse team.
Hold on. Before you keep going, it could have been a concocted story, but there's no scandal and no lie.
They're all concocted stories. The Duke lacrosse team. Tawana Brawley.
Exactly.
Here's a good one. Hillary landed under sniper fire.
Under sniper fire, there is no lie. No lie. The snipers obviously were not coming from weapons, but there was some type of a sniper attack. It might have been, what are those little birds? Snipe birds? Have you ever gone snipe hunting?
I have not.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I do.
Okay, well, maybe that's what they were referring to. It doesn't make it a scandal or a lie. What do you have next? So far, as a staunch conservative, I have shot down every one of these claims that you have simply by informing you that they are not scandals and not lies. You have one more minute before we have to go to break, and I'm sure we'll be able to pick up on this afterwards.
We will, but we can go back to some, we can't find the files that were in the Clinton White House that ended up in the bedroom, the Whitewater files, the post office
scandal or a lie.
the post office scandal, Travelgate. It's
a myth.
And I didn't have sexual relations with that woman.
Well, he just simply misspoke.
Depending upon what is.
We got to go to a break. When we get back after a couple of minutes here, Denise is going to continue with her alleged scandals and alleged lies from the Obama administration.
Fabricated.
And I will continually debunk
fabricated
by simply saying that they're not a lie and not a scandal.
Fabricated stories.
You're listening to the Drive
Fabricated.
We're going to be right back.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
This is Don Neuen with Cowboy Logic Radio, and I carry my Sig Sauer 9mm every day. It's like a MasterCard. I never leave home without it.
And I'm glad you do, given that you work in Atlanta every day, talking about a rough place to work.
Well, Donna, I would say that most of our beloved Cowboy Logic Radio listeners not only own, but carry their weapons too. It's just the thing to do nowadays.
So do I, Don. And we need to share with our listeners a fantastic weapons company, Tar River Arms. Oh, and I should mention, they were founded by United States Marine, enough said, right? Badass-o-matic.
TarRiverArms.com. That's TAR Riverarms.com.
Tar River Arms, America's first virtual gun store, makes it easier and more comfortable than ever to purchase your firearm online. And through 3D interactive experiences, you can even view and inspect that gun you're purchasing.
They even have weekly specials that eliminate shipping and broker fees, Donna. Great guns, great prices, and great service. And remember, Tar River Arms is veteran-owned and operated.
Don, would you expect anything less from a Marine?
No, ma'am.
At TarRiverArms.com, you can search by caliber, manufacturer, and firearm types. Revolvers, semi-automatic pistols, including your SIG, Don, short barrel rifles, long rifles, shotguns, and NFA silencers. They even have very hard to find products such as the H&K MP5. Totally badass.
Tar River Arms have some of the coolest high-end tactical weapons made, all at great prices.
TarRiverArms.com, U.S. Marine owned and operated.
Hoorah!
Hey gang, did you know that the big cellular companies fund liberal causes and candidates, not Patriot Mobile?
You're correct, Donna. Did you know that the big mobile companies have spent over $100 million to elect liberal candidates? They also fund liberal causes, agendas, and organizations such as Planned Parenthood, not Patriot Mobile.
Here's how it works. You, our beloved Cowboy Logic Radio listeners, pay your cell phone bill every month. Then Big Mobile takes your money and gives millions to liberal candidates who authorize subsidies to provide free cell service, Obama phones, to do-nothings who vote for more liberals so they can keep getting more free stuff that you pay for. Not Patriot Mobile.
So here's how you fight back. Switch to Patriot Mobile with unlimited plans starting as low as $20 a month and stop funding the big cellular companies.
Feel good about funding the right agendas. Every dollar you spend makes a statement. What message are you sending?
And it's easy to switch. You can even keep your same number, and they've got great nationwide coverage that includes Double D Ranch.
Visit them online at patriotmobile.com or call them at 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
And for any of the guilt-ridden liberals, that's 1-800-272-8746.
Created by conservatives for conservatives. Their name says it all. Patriot Mobile. Do it now. patriotmobile.com or 1-800-A-PATRIOT.
Ladies and gentlemen, what message are you sending?
Welcome back to the Drive Time SITREP, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Neuen, and you've got a conspiracy theorist on the other end of this conversation, one Denise Simon, who is trying to make us all believe that during the Barack Obama administration there were scandals and lies, and I'm here to tell you we can rebuke every one of these by simply saying there was no scandal.
Fabricated.
All right, so back to you, Denise. What's your next alleged scandal and lie?
Well, we had just a stellar operation on the Haiti earthquake thing. Remember that one?
It was a misunderstanding, Denise. That was.
But an interesting thing that came out in the Hillary emails that nobody really ever spoke of. And I did some interesting little research on that one today because Politico magazine, not exactly what you would call a, I don't know.
left-wing rag.
Yeah,
call it what
anyway, it is. In September of 2015, there was some emails that went back and forth with little Miss Chelsea Clinton to her family and to the staff over there at the Clinton Foundation that was challenging the Clintons' Haitian screw-up. And she goes, this is the most incompetent thing I've ever seen. And, it just seems that the Praetorian Guard, the media, never really reported on that. They put it out there only on the web, so nobody else would hear it on TV.
Well, just because it was incompetent doesn't mean that it was a scandal or a lie. Just like Uranus 143, Uranium 1, Uranium 2, Uranium 3. It's all just a misunderstanding. And it's a right-wing conspiracy, Denise.
If anybody cares to write about it, as Hillary would say.
Come on, keep going. This is fun.
Okay, then we have most recently, and again, if I've overlooked anything, these just came right off my head. Top of my head, just bam, 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 bam. But we had the most recent thing of the Covington Catholic high school boys.
Hey, little disrespectful pukes, I got to tell you, that was not a scandal, nor was it a lie. That poor Native American veteran
who was Marine Recon.
Yeah, but between him and Richard Blumenthal, I think they're both getting the short end of the stick. Hold on a second. I got to stop right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're taking me seriously for 1 minute since this show has started, you don't know me. Now that I've got that disclaimer out, Denise, what about John Kerry and what's his name, son? Who's the old guy that's going to run for president? He was the vice president. Yeah, Joe Biden.
On the China thing?
Their son. Yeah, what about their son? That was not a scandal, and that was not a lie, do you think?
Well, for the listeners out there, I hope they're kind of taking some notes here because it's very fun to kind of review where we are. So if we ever have to take a vote of disconfidence, unconfidence, or whatever the word is, no confidence of Washington, D.C., which Cory Booker, presidential candidate, has said could be a real problem. The problem's here. We have no confidence. But let's continue. Because the
you got to say, shall we?
Shall we? The big one that went on for weeks that had protests all over the place.
Kavanaugh. Let me guess. You're going to bring up Kavanaugh. You right-wing conspiracy.
Because I'll never get over that one. I'm just not going to get over it. So what we have here all tells us that when it comes to the dossier...
Hold on. What about Feinstein's Chinese operative?
Yeah, what about it? Well, he wasn't a spy?
Scandal. There was no lie. That was a misunderstanding. He misspoke. Yeah. Hey, Merry Christmas.
So when it comes down to this, what we really have here is, did we think that the matter of the dossier would be something way out of the norm for what the Praetorian Guard would continue for 4 years to sell us? You know where I'm going with that?
Of course I do.
It just fits. The resources that Hillary had to use to cover up her server stuff, the resources that Hillary had to use to, cover up Whitewater, to cover up Travelgate and the post office scandal, or the blue dress and all of the women. She had to use some colossal resources.
And if you were to put a price tag on those resources, including the $30 million we've just spent with Mueller, where would you place that at?
I don't know that I could, because I don't know that number really has a beginning, and it certainly doesn't have an end, because favors go around in a circular motion in Washington, D.C.
Let me ask you this, Denise. Do you think the left wing, meaning those members of Congress that are on the Democrat side and the mainstream media primarily, along with all the goofball talking heads that you see come on TV, like Juan Williams, do you think that they are delusional, or do you think that they're just so hung up in their lies that they just feel like they got to keep going? I don't see how they can even take themselves remotely seriously, because they're pathetically comical to anybody that knows the truth.
But there's money in fabrication, and they're operatives. And they're paid operatives. I mean, Fox pays Juan Williams, and Juan Williams is probably getting other monies from the DNC or the Congressional Black Caucus out of the Congress side, because he gets these talking points, and then he's necessarily told to make sure that he gets these things said day in and day out over on Fox, fair and balanced.
What did they use to refer to and I could be missing this completely, but You know, back in the days of slavery, when you had a particular slave that was turning on the other slaves for some type of gratuity, whether it was good treatment or maybe money, whatever it would be. Or maybe let's go over to Vietnam, where you have some POWs and you got this one guy that's pissing ass with the VC or the Vietnamese, and he receives better treatment. He's like a little puppet for him. What do you call that type of a person, Denise?
I don't know. Tell me.
Do you call him a Benedict Arnold? Do you call him a turncoat? Do you call him an Uncle Tom? What do you call him?
Any of those, whenever it depends upon the conversations you're in, which one of the on the menu you choose.
Well, I gave you 3 examples, but you know, and it doesn't have anything to do with race. I'm not picking on Juan Williams because he's got brown skin. But any of these people that are selling their soul for power or money, and granted, they're on both sides of the aisle. You know, I don't mean to get off on a tangent here, but please allow me to do so. You know, lately I've been talking about, and it was to address a debate that I was in on Facebook, where you've got people talking about a third party. Well, and the need for a third party. In my opinion, Denise, we've already got a third party, and he's sitting in the White House.
Well, the closest we ever had to having a third party was the Tea Party with that movement. And that didn't have endurance. But
my point is that Donald Trump is a third party candidate. He was created by the disdain on the right for what Barack Obama had done, and quite frankly, what many Republicans had done to our country. And he was created by the Democrat Party because of how bizarre and enormous of a failure they were, despite that there were no scandals or no lies during the 8 years of Barack Obama's presidency.
But we're the dumb ones. I mean, who was it that we just buried here that had served 30 terms in Congress? John Dingell.
I get it. But my point is that we do have a third party candidate, and he's in the office of the president.
Well, he had better get his mojo again, because we are in the throes of 2020 right now. And he has a lot of arrows in his quiver that he can yank out and use. I think we discussed this last week. And he'd better start doing it. But when it comes to where we are,
what do you think he's waiting for? What do you think he's waiting for?
You're right. He's
got a pant load of arrows.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know if he's shooting down some. I know there's some people there that are trying to say, "Hey, dude, this is where you need to be going." You know, I don't know what those discussions in the White House are really like.
Do you think he's waiting for the Mueller verdict? I mean, I think it's clear that he already knows what it is. But do you think he's waiting for that to be handed down, and then he's going to unload like nothing we've ever seen?
I can only hope that that's necessarily right, but there's no way for me to know. And so when it comes to, I mean, just as we were coming on air, I just got an email that officially 16 states now, with California and New York acting as the lead, have filed suit against his emergency order and funds to build the wall. Well,
of course,
they're already conflating the problem here, and nobody is using critical thinking here. There are two different things in play. He can declare a national emergency. He has full authority to do that. by the Constitution. Okay? That's one thing. Set it aside. That's done. It is an emergency. And here's the interesting thing on top of that. Today, the Democrats, with former Florida Senator Bill Nelson, have asked the Trump White House to give Venezuelans that have fled the country temporary status in the United States. Venezuelans. So now we've got all these other countries, and and they want to officially add in Venezuela. So he has full authority to make that declaration. We're under 31 conditions of our national emergencies as I speak, going back to Jimmy
Correct.
Carter.
Correct.
All right. The separate issue is
hold on. While you're on that thought, I went back and looked this weekend at all of the previous emergency acts that were created. This is the only one that I could find, and correct me, I'd love to be corrected on this, but it's the only one that I could find that actually had to do with the national security of the United States.
Which one? The one that Trump did?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, not really, but okay.
I'm talking about where we've got a serious crisis on our hands.
Well, I mean, there's one in play for Burundi. Like, why?
Exactly.
But
and many in Africa,
mm-hmm.
and some in South America or
Mm-hmm.
Central America.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I could tell, this is the one that really stands under the oath that he has taken.
Well, here's the deal. And I've been saying this for about 6 weeks, and I've told some people in Washington, D.C., on the Senate side, to get to the people on the Senate side, you better hold a hearing on immigration on the Senate side. You can't do it in the House, but you can do it in the Senate. And let's put out there on the table all of the things that are causing a crisis here in the United States when it comes to immigration. Let's put it out there. And then he should have done his national emergency declaration. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
You should have done that first, because it would have been.
This whole thing should have been done 2 years ago.
Correct. But, there are people up there that are not thinking critically on this. It's kind of like if he had held a hearing and perhaps even declassified some documents before he did the travel, quote unquote, air quote, ban, there wouldn't have been a challenge to it.
Exactly.
Okay, so there are some things that needed to have happened before he made this declaration on the national emergency when it comes to the southern border. And then there probably wouldn't have been any kind of an issue, or certainly not as big an issue, because the Democrats are conflating the two. The declaration of a national emergency with the money. They're two different things, and they put them together. And it's our job to separate them. Now, he can move. He has full authority to take the $600 million in forfeiture assets at Treasury. He can do that. There's no question. And he can take the drug interdiction money in the account over at the Pentagon. Why that's sitting over there, I don't know. He can do that one. The other two were a little more difficult. And the big one certainly is the military construction money.
Well, hold on. How much do we have in the drug interdiction fund?
It's about 700,000. I mean, 700 million.
A million here, a million there, then, whatever. Okay. So what is that? About 1.7 billion? 1.6 billion?
Yeah.
Okay, we get another 55 miles.
Well, you're not getting 55 miles, by the way.
Right.
You may not get any 55 miles.
Yeah, so I heard.
Okay.
Hey,
all right.
Listen, we've only got a few minutes left. Let me ask you a question. On Cowboy Logic Radio this week, we had Curtis Ellis on with us. He brought up a very interesting point, and that is this whole thing could be dealt with if Greg Abbott declares the state of emergency and does this from the state of Texas, at least for the Texas border. Your thoughts on that?
Has he? I thought he had already done that. That's why he has the Rangers.
Yeah, but he could get the funding for this and get Trump out of the doghouse. See, when this whole thing went down last week prior to his speech in El Paso, Trump knew, we all knew, that he was boxed in and the only thing he could do is sign a bad deal. And we all get that. But Donald Trump is not going to sign a bad deal. I believe he's got an ace up his sleeve. I have no idea what it could be. But when Curtis Ellis brought this up for Cowboy Logic Radio, first thing I thought is that's a big damn ace up his sleeve that he probably had in place when he was in El Paso. Don't know. Throwing it out there. You got about 5 minutes, Nisi.
Well, the point of all of this is where we're going here tonight was the Democrats have been fabricating stories. We just listed a whole pile of them. They fabricated, obviously they were still living through the fabricated story on the dossier, and Comey and McCabe and Page and Strzok and blah, 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 blah. But now they're fabricating the story about the emergency order and the money. And they're calling it's a fabricated emergency. There is no emergency. Well, somebody had better get some index cards over to Trump and give him the talking points such that they cannot be denied. Because CNN is even denying that these angel families were victims of alleged illegals.
How offensive.
Yeah, it is.
How offensive.
We have the Praetorian Guard here of the media that has been given all these memos by the DCCC and the Democratic National Committee, Tom Perez and, whoever else is out there. And they give all these to MSNBC and CBS and CNN and, NBC and the rest of them. And so we have this nonsense that's happening here, but we also, in the meantime, have a little bit of a meltdown going on in the Democratic Party, of which we have Ilhan Omar that's causing one. And then we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that's handling the other one over there with Amazon.
Yep.
Okay, so if you're watching your enemy self-destruct, then don't get in the way. Just shut up. So Trump needs to shut up about those because they're just going to let everybody else handle that. He needs to stay on his game. And his game is to go after the fact that these are not concocted, fabricated stories that he's doing. It's what they're doing. I just gave a whole inventory of where we have been on fabricated stories. The most recent one being Jussie Smollett in Chicago.
Do you think he's going to do time for this?
He could. He very well could.
3 years.
It's up to 3 years for between the FBI and the Chicago Police Department, they assigned 20 people to that case.
Can you imagine what's going to happen to him in prison? Can you imagine?
Do you think he's going to go to prison?
Well, let me put it this way, Denise. If he did what it sounds like he's done, he most certainly should go.
I agree with you, but do you think he's going to go?
I'll say it again. If he did what it sounds like he's done, he should go to prison. Do I think he's going to go? I hope so. If he's done what it sounds like he has done.
even our little snitch with the bad hair, Al Sharpton, even he came out and said, if this is fabricated, he needs to go to the full extent of the law. This is coming from Al Sharpton.
Yep. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Drive Time Sit Rep with Denise Simon. My name's Don Neuen. Denise, you got about 15 seconds.
Oh.
Who's coming up on your show this coming Thursday? Do you have it in front of you?
Oh, gosh. Hold on. I have Tim Snowball, and I have Phil Jordan, who gave us some very interesting information about El Chapo Guzman. I have Daniel Ortner on the fact that Boston won't fly a flag. Imagine that. And then I have David Benham, whose show was canceled by HGTV because they're Christians.
Shocking that would ever happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we sure do appreciate the fact that you've been listening to Drive Time Sit Rep. Please join in on Thursday night for Denise Simon's show, The Denise Simon Experience. Please listen on Tuesday night for Cowboy Logic Radio. Whatever station or network you're listening to the Drive Time Sit Rep, you can catch those two shows. Denise, we got to run. Take us home.
Thanks for listening. God bless America.
Check us out on the web at cowboylogic.us.
Hey, Donna, Cowboy Logic Radio listeners love law enforcement.
That's right, Don. And Charity Magnets designs and produces beautiful, high-quality products for law enforcement supporters and enthusiasts.
They've got very impressive honor badge car magnets.
CharityMagnets.com.
They've got license plate honor badges.
CharityMagnets.com.
They've got cool keychains and license plate frames.
CharityMagnets.com. I'm on their website right now, and this is my favorite, the Honor Badge dog tag. Look at that little doggy with the dog tag. He's so cute.
Donna, we're trying to do an ad read, and you're playing around on their website, which happens to be CharityMagnets.com.
But he's so cute.
Donna.
Okay. Hey, this is huge, too. For each sale, a donation will be made to Cops for Kids with Cancer. Cops for Kids with Cancer has given more than $2.5 million in donations. Yes.
Become a Blue Honor Foundation member today. Like Donna is doing right now, go to CharityMagnets.com.
But he's so cute. All right, use the promo code MOJO for $5 off any purchase. I know you all love and support our brave law enforcement professionals and their families. Show your support today by going to CharityMagnets.com and check out that little puppy. He's so cute. Hey, Don, can we go to the pound, get another rescue dog, please? Pretty
No,
please?
Donna, no. 5 rescue dogs are enough, but I'm going to CharityMagnets.com, and I'm making some purchases right now.
Become a Blue Honor Foundation member today. Enter MOJO at checkout and get $5 off. CharityMagnets.com.